project is ethical issues and third-party reimbursement. We are mainly focusing on the issues of intentional misdiagnosis or updiagnosing. Okay. So we went into a little bit about the Affordable Health Care Act and the implications that has on providing services to clients. We looked at managed care organizations, which in this state is kind of the gatekeeper for people receiving services and also limits what is available to people on many levels, especially based on their diagnosis. Some counselors find it necessary to, even if a client doesn't quite meet all the criteria for a certain DSM code, kind of pushing it so that they can get the services they need. And it's an ethical dilemma because even though clients may really need the services and need a certain number of sessions, it's illegal and unethical to misdiagnose.
The title of our project is Weighing the Pros and Cons of Counseling Vulnerable Populations in the Mother Tongue. So many languages are spoken at a daily basis in the U.S. at home as a first native language that is not English, and these populations are being underserved in a very, very kind of big scale way. One of the things that you'll notice is that, for example, with the Hispanic population, even though they report to have a really, really high sense of hopelessness and sadness, they're the ones actually not reaching mental health. So there's a big disparity, and we want to see how we can bridge that gap, which is part of our biggest emphasis is how can we bridge the gap between these communities that need the help yet are not receiving the help.
The title of our project is Grief and Loss, Helping Students Cope Completely and Ethically. The one thing we would want people to take away from this poster is to understand that grief and loss is a natural part of life, and helping students understand that at any developmental age is a very difficult task, and making sure to treat every student individually and differently, but also consulting with people, with other professionals if an issue comes up ethically.
The title of our project is Insurance Parity for Eating Disorder Treatment. We looked at the cost of eating disorder treatment, which can be up to $30,000 per month, which is really expensive. So insurance not covering means a lot of people don't get access to treatment that they need. And often when they do get access, if they reach a certain BMI, they get kicked out. So you have to be sicker to get treatment coverage. And we looked at some things that are going on right now, like the FREED Act is something that an organization is working on right now, trying to get eating disorders covered, mandated for insurance companies to cover. So.
Hey, the title of our project is Affordable Care Act and Implication for Counselors, and we chose this project to do because we think that the Affordable Care Act really kind of has a bad rap, there's been a lot of negative attention to it in press, and we wanted to really know what it does, what it says to counselors and to people working in the mental health profession, and we've learned that it's pretty awesome. The biggest thing I think that is the most important is the integrated care program and the systems of care that are starting to be implemented, and that's a way for people to go in and to be seen by their primary doctor, and then in the same facility see somebody for a counselor, a therapist, a psychiatrist, or psychologist, so that they're having their needs met in a holistic way. So because the Affordable Care Act approaches things from that kind of model of well-being and taking the person all-encompassing, you know, that you want to address the physical needs, the mental needs, the spiritual needs, and I think that there's really a push to do that through the way it's being implemented at the state level.
The title of our project is Dual Relationships, Making Sense of Boundaries. Well, the main ideas that we want to explore with this project is the fact that, in general, dual relationships in the counseling environment have a lot of gray ethical area to them. So we can easily surmise that beginning a sexual or dating relationship with your client is a big no-no, obviously. But then there are a lot of different kinds of dual relationships, such as if you were the only counselor in a very small town in the middle of nowhere, and one of your clients happens to be your mechanic, and he's the only mechanic in town. How do you negotiate that grayness, I suppose?
integrating the ACERVIC competencies into counseling. ACERVIC stands for the Association for Spiritual, Ethical, Religious Values in Counseling. If there's one thing that we want people to come away with from our poster and our presentation is we really need to be knowledgeable about religious practices as a whole, but most importantly about our own spiritual beliefs and preferences and biases that we bring to the table. We really need to analyze our own beliefs so that we can approach people without influencing their beliefs unduly.
The title of our project is Professional and Relational Boundaries in Counseling. These ideas and themes are important to the counseling profession because a lot of the ethical considerations are not black and white. So we need, as professional counselors, to know what are the ethical boundaries involved in counseling relationships, as well as what are the legal aspects of boundaries and maintaining those boundaries in counseling profession.
Our title is FERPA Fun, or Knowing Your FERPA Rights. The main thing that our group wants people to know about, our project is that, when a person, turns 18 or their first day of college, they become their own person. They become, autonomous. And at that point, they have they really do become an adult because they have more, rights to both their educational records or their treatment records than they do in their high school. And many students don't know that because they don't become aware of FERPA until they get that, acceptance letter from their university, and then they get a letter after that saying, you have to go, if you want your parents to know about your education records, you have to go and sign off on it. So a lot of students don't know about it until they become accepted into college. So.
The title of our project is The Taboo of Counseling, Counselors Through the Minority Eye. The main idea behind our project was that we found that members of the majority group are a lot more likely to attend counseling than those of the minority groups. And so we were interested in seeing what barriers are in place that are hindering these people from coming into counseling and how we can overcome these barriers. I think that this is important to the counseling profession because we strive to be multiculturally competent, and so we want to find ways in which we can best serve those from all groups.
The title of our project is Mental Health Issues in the Bisexual Community. So first we looked at just some of the discrimination that happens to the bisexual community by the dominant culture as well as within the LGBTQ community. And so out of that, what their needs are is specific in counseling that might be different from the rest of the LGBTQ community, and some of the considerations that counselors should take.
The title of our project is The Kleenex Conundrum, Crying in Session. Some of the main ideas we were looking at was the fact that there's only one research done on crying, and it actually is just like that people do cry in session. About 3/4 of counselors do cry, but no one's really talked about if it helps your client or not. So we wanted to look at the ethics behind crying and not crying, and how you can make a decision of if you feel comfortable crying in front of a client. The takeaway would be really know your client and to consult with others before making a decision.